We've recognized that most U.S. Foreign assistance to Mexico is administered through states' Bureau of International Narcotics and Labor. The stated goal is to combat transnational criminal organizations and illicit narcotics. But a 2023 GAO report found serious shortcomings under the bicentennial framework. State and INL failed, past tense, to define specific projects, establish measurable benchmarks, and implement monitoring plans. As a result, Congress was asked to fund large assistance packages without metrics, clear metrics for success or accountability for the future. Under the Biden administration, the U.S. provided more than $1 billion, in assistance to Mexico. During the same period, this country experienced historic border encounters and massive fentanyl flows. By contrast, in the first year of this administration, border encounters dropped to the lowest level ever recorded. For the start of the year, fentanyl seizures are down, and Mexico has stepped up enforcement against organized crime. And it's done so at substantially lower cost. The contrast raises a question for Congress. Was the problem a lack of resources or a lack of accountability and strategy? That's not a question for you two. The question for you two is, if we look at the outcomes over these two periods, what do you believe most explains the differences we're seeing now? A change in our strategy, a change in U.S. strategy, a change in Mexican enforcement procedures, postures, or a stronger accountability for results? I'd welcome a response from either of you.
Thank you for the question, Congressman. I think the answer is really all of the above. Certainly, the President has set a very clear tone about what he expects from this relationship and placed a very high priority on delivering results. President Sheinbaum, at the same time, has demonstrated great will herself to make changes and address what I believe she sees as one of her major issues as Mexicans suffer, as my colleague pointed out earlier. So the political will is at a level that I think we have not seen before, and we are implementing new ways of providing accountability and increasing our mechanism. It's one of the very positive spots, I think, in our current cooperation. The meeting that SBO Landberg and I went to in Mexico City last week was our second security implementation group meeting. By design, this is intended to create much more accountability for all of us. We are meeting on a monthly basis, revisiting every commitment that we have made rather than allowing those to sit into perpetuity, and having very high-level representatives of both governments sit and answer for the commitments that they'd made previously and ensuring that we're delivering results. Another way of ensuring that accountability is we are releasing public statements after each one of these meetings to provide transparency so people can see what we're doing and to hold ourselves accountable from both bureaucracies. So I think the answer is really all of the above. Thank you.
I appreciate that response. And let me pivot to a different question for Mr. Landberg. I referenced that 2023 GAO report was clear about the deficiencies under the bicentennial framework: no defined projects, no measurable benchmarks, no monitoring plans. What specific changes has INL already implemented under this administration or is prepared to implement to correct those failures?
Thank you, sir. First, under the foreign assistance review earlier this year, after President Trump and Secretary Rubio came in, we reviewed every single program we have. We ended programs that we thought were not advancing core U.S. national security interests of keeping Americans or making Americans safer and stronger. We reorganized the INL office. We are now focused on sort of major buckets of counter-narcotics, countering the organization's illicit finance, border security, and much more narrow criminal justice. And then we are working to measure results better, not only within INL, but we're insisting that all the counterparts, U.S. law enforcement they work with, they all work through our system. It's called Dev Results, to basically, have metrics and measure that we're having an impact to keep Americans safe.
I appreciate that. I just want to note that earlier today, my Mexican Cross-Border Accountability Act passed the Senate as part of the NDAA just a few hours ago, and it incorporates the GAO's recommendations and requires fraud risk assessments for these programs. It's the kind of accountability that our taxpayers expect. I appreciate your comments